There's a fairly new hotel in Portland called The Canopy. It's down on Commercial Street. It's got a rooftop bar that's called Luna, and the chef is Matt Duley, who's with us today in the 207 kitchen at Main Studios. Thanks for coming in. Good to have you.
Thanks for having me.
What are you going to make for us?
So today we're going to make goat cheese gnudi with a sweet potato and apple cider puree.
All right, why don't we get started on that?
Absolutely.
And as you do, I'm going to ask you for an explanation of what the term gnudi is, because that's something I haven't heard of.
So gnudi is Italian, the Italian word for nude. So gnudi is basically if a ravioli and a dumpling had a baby, it's kind of, it would be a gnudi. So what you end up doing is you make a batter and then you scoop it into semolina, and that semolina slowly will cure that batter. So instead of it having like a pasta shell where you have to roll out the pasta, it just forms a nice little, you know, thinner pasta shell.
Okay.
So first we're going to roast the sweet potato.
Yes.
I have oil, salt, and pepper on here.
Got it.
And we'll put that in the oven. We are now going to work on the gnudi batter.
Got it.
So in a bowl, we have 1 pound of ricotta cheese. This is 8 ounces of goat cheese.
Yes.
And this is all stuff that I have found at either the local farmer's market. I mean, you can find all these ingredients at Hannaford as well, so it's pretty easy to make. So that was 8 ounces, or a cup of grated Parmesan cheese.
Yes.
And then we have 2 eggs. And this is one of those meal prep dishes, because it does take 3 days to cure in the refrigerator.
Okay.
So this is one of those things, if you're doing a meal prep plan, you can prep it on a Sunday, and then you have dinner already ready to go for Wednesday.
Got it. So if you're planning ahead, looking for something to make for the winter months,
Absolutely.
then be sure to plan ahead.
And once it's cured, it actually freezes pretty well also, so it's something you can put in the freezer and use later.
That's good. So you can make that well ahead of time and keep it for, obviously, when you need it.
Absolutely.
How do you know when the consistency is right here after stirring?
So with this, really, you can't overmix it. It's not gonna, you know, get tough if you overmix it. So you just want to make sure everything is mixed together harmoniously. You don't want to see big chunks of goat cheese. You just want to see a nice, even batter.
Got it.
And that's looking pretty good. So the next step is the semolina. So this is going to be the shell that forms around this batter. So you just put a little layer on the bottom of this pan. And then you can use a scoop if you have one at home, one of those good scoops that has a little, but not everybody has those. So here we're just going to do
spoons will do the
some
job.
Spoons and just dollops. They don't have to look perfectly round. Rustic is the way we like to do it.
Good, good.
And then you would just spoon all this batter into the semolina. You might need you know, more than one pan. And then you would just cover it with the remaining semolina.
Okay.
And then that would go in your refrigerator for roughly 3 days. Sometimes it takes a little bit less. Sometimes it can be 2 days. But you definitely want it to hold its shape when it gets boiled. And then the sweet potato puree. So we have this roasted sweet potato here.
Yep.
Roast it until it's fork tender, and then we'll just peel it, and it peels off nice and easy. And then basically you just treat this like you would mashed potatoes.
Okay.
We add a little bit of butter, a little bit of apple cider, and also some heavy cream just to thin it out to our liking.
Sounds good.
If you don't want it to be as thin, just leave out the cream, and you know, you can have just mashed sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
So that's that, and I've actually already made the sauce here. So this is sweet potato, cream, butter, and cider.
Okay.
And then we will go into boiling some gnudi. So they've come out of the cure.
Okay.
And you can see how firm they've gotten.
They'll hold together well.
They'll hold together well. So now we just drop these right into the water. You don't need to cook all of them. And those will take 4 to 5 minutes. They will start to float once they're completely cooked.
So a few minutes have gone by, and these are now finished, right, Matt? They're good to go?
They're starting to float, as you can see.
Take them out?
We'll take them out, yeah. Because there's no real flour in the mix, they'll kind of have almost a molten consistency to them once you actually eat them. So we'll go ahead on the plate, and we'll get some of this nice sweet potato puree. Just spoon that on there.
I mean, we all like our root vegetables when the weather gets cool.
And then we have some toasted hazelnuts to add a little bit of nuttiness. It'll cut some of that sweetness of the sweet potato as well. And then I like to finish with either arugula or watercress. That'll give it
Yeah.
a touch of a peppery bite because there is quite a bit of richness in this gnudi, so you want that freshness and the little bit of pepper.
The recipe is, of course, on our website. Go to newscentermaine.com/207. Either our website or our app, you're going to find the recipe for the gnudi. More information about Luna, where Matt Duley works at the Canopy Hotel in Portland. Thank you so much, Matt.
Thank you.
Stick around. We're going to be back with more of 207 in a moment.